Hi there. Happy Wednesday. I'm coming onto Facebook Live to have a chat to people, trying to do it every Wednesday, calling them Hump Day Healings, bringing to our awareness different concepts so we can learn how to heal ourselves before we end up in a mess, having to use a lot of other people to help us out. So today, bear with me a minute, I'm just setting up my computers here. So today I put a little post up to warn people what time I was going on in case anyone wanted to come on and be more interactive. But also because the topic I want to speak about today is belief systems and emotions, how we can clear emotions. But I've also attached it to one of my favourite memes, which is about comparing humans to plants. I've put it up a couple of times and I see it a lot, saying that humans are basically house plants, but with more complicated emotions. And I so believe this is true. It actually came up today with a client that I was working on, which gave me the idea on what to talk about today, because I don't plan this much, I just get on and chat. So in regards to comparing us to plants, I'm going to use this as an analogy today to explain our emotions, what they do to us or for us, and belief systems as well. So keep up with me here and see if you can listen to the end, because it does all make sense. So if we are a plant, right, we come to this world as a seed, as I've said before, on a beautiful wave of pure love and innocence. So we're little seeds. We get enough of the right nutrients and we'll actually start to take root, and then we'll grow a little sprout. So we all know how plants go, whether they be a fruit, a vegetable, a tree, a bush, a weed, either way. They all have a purpose and a structure on how they're going to end up being. So we lay our roots. This is comparing a human's brain. That's the state we're at there. When we're laying our roots, that's our neural pathways, and this is how we get a lot of our nutrients, our minerals from the soil, and then disperse them through our body. So our hormones in our brains, our neural pathways, they know what to do. It's pretty smart. Set up like a computer as well. So our bodies are a bit more like the trunk or the stalk of the plant. And what we do with our life and how we live our life is more the leaves and the flowers or the fruit that we might produce. So just going back a step, and one way I explain energy therapy to people, because I'm all about energy and explain it in lots of different ways, is we're a body, we have a heart, which is actually a electromagnetic powerhouse. We also have our brain, which has electromagnetic power, but nowhere near as powerful as the heart. The heart is about 60 times more powerful. That's the problem with plants, that they don't actually have a heart. The roots are considered their brain, and they direct the minerals up through the plant to where they need to be. So if you can imagine anything in this life, whether it's biological or electronic, anything that has a battery or a brain that's setting off these electromagnetic frequencies, it emits a field around us. Some people call it a biofield, some people explain it as auras, but basically to allow your mind to realise there is more to us than just this 3D body. So I've spoken about this in previous lives, be it that we emit a field, there's energy in that field and people can pick up on it. So just getting back now to the analogy of a plant. As we live our life as our little plant, we've grown up, we are getting water, we're getting nutrients and minerals from the ground, and we're getting energy from the sun. So energy is light that contains information. Comparing that to emotions, emotions is energy in motion. So it's an energetic charge that has information in it. So when we experience an emotion, it's in reaction to something that's happened around us or within us. Now, as we live our life from child, adulthood, all the way through, we develop belief systems. These belief systems, again, I've mentioned before, we establish all through our life from things that we've seen and heard and been told. So if you can imagine, back to the plant, our belief systems are being thrown up around us, and I'd like to call them shade leaves. So our belief systems are set up to either guide us morally or to protect us when things happen, and it just filters the energy into our heart to a degree that we can handle. So say something tragic or traumatic has happened in your life, we throw up a thought straight away and it creates a belief system, be it, this shouldn't happen to me. I'm a good person. Why did this happen to me? We always ask the question, why? So this has thrown up a little bit of a shade leaf to protect us from the really harsh emotion and that rush of energy with information that's occurring to us at the time, whether it be shock, fear, all sorts of things can come at us through our life with these emotions. So if you can imagine all the things that's happened to you in your life, the emotion that comes with it, and hopefully, you know, there's a lot of emotions of joy and happiness as well. But it's more the dense ones, the difficult emotions to handle that I'm talking about here that really throw up these belief systems to protect us. So it's a belief system that this shouldn't have happened to me, and why? Or I'm not going to do that again because it hurt last time. So we end up steering our life around these belief systems, and they're great. This is how we live our life through communities. We're able to function as people even after suffering great traumas in our life. What happens after a point though, and again thinking of my plant analogy, you're full of shade leaves after some time. You're not getting as much sun as you need to. You can eat all the right foods, you can drink all the water, you can get all those nutrients and minerals running through your body. But if you're not getting enough energy, which is light with information, to allow us to grow more and expand, we get a little bit stuck. Our leaves can turn brown and manky and fall off. The plant can get stunted. The plant grows mutant fruit and flowers, may not grow any fruit or flowers at all. So I hope you can follow me with where this analogy is going. The belief systems we create, as I say, are there to protect us from emotions. And it gets to a point sometimes, though, where we're allowed to let these leaves drop off to allow us to grow further. Just quickly to break you from the analogies and the comparisons here, thank you to those that are joining me. Thank you, beautiful Dawn and Corey and Em and I can't see who else is here. Debbie as well. So thanks for your words. That's really beautiful. So back to confusing you with my plants and our leaves and our fruits and flowers. You know, belief systems, emotions, they're difficult concepts for people to face. So I often come up with some pretty weird things to explain them to people that kind of make sense in real life and the world we see around us. It takes away the hurt when we're kind of thinking about our own issues. So the cycle of plants and humans, because life is always cyclical, you know, we go through childhood, we go through young adulthood, old age, and things do go in cycles, same as nature and plants. So if it gets to a point where your leaves are turning brown, the plant's not growing the way it should, you need to tend your garden a little bit. Plants are pretty clever, you know, they have the innate knowing, they're not complicated by hearts and emotions, so they know when it's time to drop off those shade leaves to get more light into their life, so they can grow as best as they can and produce the sweetest fruit, the most beautiful flowers, the most beautiful coloured foliage, whatever their purpose is. If we are surrounded by belief systems and we're unwaverable in those belief systems, the plant's not going to be in a good place, and nor is the human. And this is where emotions can affect us physically. A lot of people find that concept a little bit hard to grasp, but hopefully this is helping it make a little bit more sense. Because if you have so many belief systems in your life set up to protect you from so much hurt because you haven't been able to process these emotions or experiences properly, we can end up with a very tunneled view of life because we've protected ourselves so much. This can be feelings from childhood or picked up from trauma. These can be negative self-limiting beliefs of yourself, as I've said before, the negative self-talk, feelings of guilt, feelings of jealousy, dread, fear, all that sort of stuff. So if you want to expand your life experience, sometimes the best idea is to drop off a few of those shade leaves. Really have a look at our belief systems and our self-limiting beliefs to see how we can live a broader, more beautiful existence full of much more light, and then sharing that to others. You know, a well-producing plant spreads joy to many more people than a shriveled up one that just has to be pulled out by the gardener. So in order to do that, it really is the hard job of looking inward. And sometimes when the plant is too far gone, we need horticulturalists, we need agronomists, we need gardeners, we need all sorts of things to help us. So again, this is where you go to your doctors, your psychologists, your energy workers, all sorts of people to help. The main thing is looking inward and then asking for help when you need to. These emotions that we feel, again, I keep saying we're taught not to feel them. Toughen up, fly right, you should be over that by now. And it's harder for some of us, or easier for some of us, depending on basically the soil that we've been grown in, because these belief systems, the subconscious, is built up in those young years of our life. A particular client that I worked on today, was well into his old age, but his whole life had been altered by something that had happened when he was 7. It had really created huge self-limiting beliefs in his life. Every time he got up, he fell down again. He got up, he fell down again. And you try all you can yourself. But until some of this stuff is brought to your attention and you work on it, it can keep bringing you down again. So to summarise with our emotions, I know I keep saying it and so does everybody else, but we've got to let them out. We have our belief systems to protect us when they are really harsh, but after time, you've really got to go in and have a look at them. You've got to laugh about them if you can. You've got to shed those, big, ugly crying fits. Go away and have them to yourself. Take some time to work on yourself. Shed a silent, quiet tear of grief. We're given tears, laughter, even anger and frustration, because it's all about dispersing that charge of energy so we don't end up too full of shade leaves that the plant can't grow anymore. If you need help with any emotions, if this has stirred anything up in you that you think you need to work on, please call one of the many helplines available to talk about your issues, be it Lifeline. There's a lot of centres like that help people. Or go and talk to your friends, your family. Go and see a therapist of some sort as well. My world is all about energy, which is why I talk about it this way, and why I do love what I do is we can get past the conscious mind into the subconscious and really dig up all those issues that we can't even think about with our conscious mind. You can't talk your way out of subconscious problems, unfortunately, until they're brought to your conscious mind and your awareness. So I hope this has made sense to you all today, and you can take something from it. I hope that you can look at your plant of yourself, do a little bit of gardening, see if you still need some of these shade leaves that we have, these belief systems. And if not, pluck them off and see what kind of beautiful fruit or flower you can produce. The idea, I think, is to really reach for the light and what we get from the sun. You know, we support ourselves with our water, as I say, and our nutrients and our minerals, and have the best environment that we can have by surrounding us with positivity and beautiful people. But to really strive for the best, to see your absolute unlimited potential in life. We are born here with infinite potential. We can grow as tall as we allow ourselves to, but we've really got to give ourselves the space to do that. Push those belief systems back and see what else you can experience. Because if we're too full of them, what it does is, really bring in that judgment of ourselves and others. And you never know, if you're busy judging someone because you think it's right and what they're doing is wrong, you might be missing out on a whole new perspective and experience in life. So try and keep yourself open. Again, there's a few more people that have joined in. So hi guys, hi Carolyn, hi Miss Tegan. Feel free to go back and watch from the beginning, because I've taken everyone on a little bit of a roller coaster ride of plants. But again, the main message behind this is love yourself, love others, give everyone the space to grow into whatever they're going to grow into. You know, you look after your plot of land and you reach high for that beautiful light and see how good you can grow. So thanks again for listening, and to anyone on the replay, thank you for taking the time to listen. If you have any questions, feel free to message me anytime. And for now, I will finish off, and we'll think of something cool to talk about next week on Hump Day Healings. So peace, love and mung beans. I'll catch you all soon. See ya.